Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, how can we help you today?
So, the big thing that everyone misses is that the likelihood of advanced civilizations helping spread and manage life is exponentially more than nature alone because it's exponentially faster than nature alone. And
Okay.
the
Okay.
biggest likelihood is that God is just simply advanced civilizations helping us out.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you have any evidence of this?
how many billions of planets are there in the universe?
Do you have any evidence of God, sir?
Do you have any evidence that it is more likely that an exponentially slower process is doing something that an exponentially faster process could?
We
We're
don't
just
need,
talking about what's more
we
likely
don't,
here.
there's no reason to think that aliens are required. We have an explanatory model called the Big Bang Lambda model that describes our current universe's configuration very nicely. You don't need advanced intelligence to have us exist this way. You just don't,
Of
right?
course, you wouldn't need it, but like I said, when you have an exponentially faster process, it becomes more and more likely, especially when you have trillions of
How does
planets
this
in the
now?
known
How does that work, sir?
existence.
What do you mean more faster? What would be faster?
Do you know how quick it would be to say get in a spaceship and drop life on a planet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Do you know there's no evidence of that?
I happen to have worked with advanced civilizations that did that. I know you don't believe that, but if you look at simply just
Okay.
the
So,
numbers of how quickly
so
it takes time
you've
for
worked with
nature to
aliens.
do that,
So,
it's just a matter of speed. The
so you've
speed
worked
and the
with.
number of planet makes it more likely. Whether you admit it or not, it's just a matter
So
of
okay,
numbers and averages.
sir. Okay, so you have worked with aliens.
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what are they? What are they like?
Human. They're absolutely human. The reason
They're
why they're
human.
human is because you don't interact with violent primitive species and tell them the truth. We are being lied to, and I don't expect you to believe any of this,
Okay,
but
who's
if you go
lying, sir?
into
Who's lying
simple
to us? Who's
how
lying
to
to us?
interact with violent
Who
species,
is lying
you
to us,
don't tell
sir?
them the truth.
Who's lying to us?
Everybody, you always lie. Tell me one government that doesn't lie.
That's not what I'm saying, sir. Who is lying to us about aliens, and how do you know?
The aliens are because I had worked with them. And all they do is lie because you can't tell humans the honest truth. You have to work.
Patience is running out quickly. Patience is running out very quickly today, guys. Very quickly today.
Hello.
How old are you?
19.
What year were you born?
2025.
So you weren't born yet?
No, I was born in 2025.
You mean 2005?
Oh, 2005. Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
Okay, so you say that God is imaginary.
Yeah.
Well, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. Do you know what the Big Bang is?
Yes.
What is it?
Well, the singularity that composed of everything that's in our observable universe expanded through like in heat and friction.
Kind of.
Well,
Um,
what am I
but-
missing? Like, am I wrong or something?
well, it's not like everything came from a singularity.
Well, what didn't come from the singularity?
There is no singularity necessarily. It's not.
So,
Not
what
all
does
Big Bang
the Big
models
Bang
incorporate
mean?
that. But what's your contention with the Big Bang, and where's your evidence of God?
No, I'm just like wondering, like, what your take on the Big Bang, and then I'll go forward from that.
The Big Bang is the best model we have at explaining the current universe's configuration.
Yeah, so explain it to me because it seems like you think I'm wrong or something.
Look, I'm not here to be your Bill Nye today, right? I'm here to get evidence for your God. So do you have any
Yeah, I
evidence
know.
for God?
Yeah, I know, but like we can get to that if when we go to the creation of the universe.
So can you just give evidence to God now?
Yeah, I know, but like I have to go to the creation of the universe because God is the creator, right?
Show me evidence of that, right? Prove it. Prove that.
Okay, so like I need to know like how do you believe that the universe came to being?
We don't know if it came to be. The universe could have always existed.
Yeah, but you just said you do believe in the Big Bang Theory and that it's the most plausible.
The Big Bang does not mean the universe was created.
What does it posit then? What is the conclusion? Like,
The universe expands. That's all.
yeah, but it comes from singularity now.
No, not necessarily.
But
The singularity is something that scientists are moving away from. It doesn't make sense mathematically.
it
It's
doesn't
just a
make sense that
placeholder. Look, the
there is
singularity
a
is a
singularity that
placeholder.
expanded.
The singularity is a placeholder for where our understanding of the Big Bang stops. All the Big Bang is a description of what we know that describes the universe's expansion. From
No, the
the
person
earliest
who
point,
made up the Big Bang Theory did this to disprove the steady state theory.
yes, the Big Bang expansion model does debunk the
Disprove
steady
the steady
state.
state theory. It was made to disprove your theory.
It was not made to debunk the steady state, but
Yes, it
it was a
was.
conclusion that challenged it and is the best explanatory model.
So
And
if it challenges it, then
this does not
it's
necessitate that the universe began.
yes, it does because the person who made the theory literally says that the universe is finite.
Well, what do you mean? What do they mean by the universe? Do they mean the totality of all, or do they mean our local space time?
Well, the universe is a collective and the singularity is an individual thing. So the universe is like literally every single thing that would be in matter,
Okay, okay.
particle.
So we don't know if the universe is finite or infinite. It could be
But
either. And
but you
appealing
said
to
that the
authority,
Big Bang Theory is the most plausible explanation of our universe.
it's the
So why are
most
you
possible
contradicting it?
explanation of the expansion. We don't know if
What?
there's a beginning or not.
So now you're doing mental gymnastics and like going back and forth on what do you think the Big Bang is right or wrong.
The Big Bang has no bearing on the beginning of the universe
But
at
the
all.
reason why the person who made the Big Bang Theory, even brought it out was to disprove the steady state theory that says that the universe is infinite.
No, they didn't make it just to debunk the steady state.
So
It
why
was
did Fred
something
Hoyle
we have
object
observed
to
for
the
many
Catholic priest that
years.
made it?
Look, can you get to your point? Where does
No,
God fit
no,
in
I
here?
just want to know like how do you
Can you
like
just give evidence to God now?
God is a creator, right? I just want to know like how do you think this
What do you mean
universe
by
was made to be?
what do you mean by creator? What is a creation?
A
Right? These
creator
words
is
don't
someone who
make any
creates.
sense. What does it mean to create something?
To
Ex
make something?
nihilo, ex materia. What do you mean by create?
It brings things into existence.
Okay. How did God bring the universe into existence?
Well, we can see in the Bible that in Genesis that he made it through his own power, whether it be ex nihilo
Okay.
or
And how do you
by
know that
nature.
God made the universe from nothing? How do you know this?
I because I just know that the universe is finite.
So saying I just know isn't good evidence, right? I can just say
Okay,
I
but
just
do
know
you
God's
believe
not
that the
real,
universe
right?
is finite? Like I'm confused.
So like do you have evidence for God now or just a
No,
storybook?
I'm not like I'm going to like
Like,
creation
look, I
because
don't
like
think you're actually 18 or older. Like, what's a W-2?
a W-2 is a form where you give to employers.
Oh my gosh, you are older than 18. This is insane. I'm
Okay,
asking for reasons for God's existence, and all you're
I
saying
know,
is a
but
book.
but
A book
like
says
I
so.
believe. Look, listen, just for a second. I believe that God is a creator, right? But in order
Stop
to
saying
prove a
I
creator, I'm
believe.
proving
Stop saying
creation.
I believe and start giving
No,
evidence.
I know, but you're like misunderstanding where I'm coming from. I just want to believe, like, understand. How do you think this universe came into being? Do you believe that the
I
universe was
don't
always
know,
there?
and neither do you. It didn't
So
have
your
to come
answer
into
is I don't
being.
know.
Ma'am, look. We don't know how the universe got to
Like,
being. And
but
maybe
you
it didn't.
just said you believed
Hold
in the
on,
Big Bang Theory.
hold on. Maybe it didn't come to being. Maybe it always existed. Nobody
So
knows
you
the
disagree
answer.
with like the common consensus between physicists?
Oh, okay. Where's the consensus about the universe's beginnings? Do you have that consensus?
Do you know like a physicist off the top of their head that is saying that the universe is infinite?
There is no consensus, ma'am. That's why
Yeah.
I asked you for the evidence of a
Could you
consensus.
could you Google a person, a scientific,
Sean
a
Kerr, Alicia
research that
Cox,
says that the
Brian
universe is
Greene,
infinite?
Brian Cox, and go on and on. People who think that the universe may be infinite. I'm asking you for evidence that the universe had a beginning and God did it.
Okay, so if the universe had a beginning, then that would mean that something would have to cause it to come into existence, and there is a causer of that.
No, it doesn't mean that.
If
No, it doesn't. Because
if it comes from a certain point,
ma'am, please relax.
yeah.
Even if the universe had a beginning, whatever that means, it could have been caused by something natural, like a quantum fluctuation. That's
Yeah.
why saying, oh, the universe has a beginning. It's not evidence for God.
I know, but
So-
if it has a beginning, then what could
hold on,
cause it?
hold on. So what I'm asking you is for evidence that God did it and not some natural phenomenon.
Even if there was a natural phenomenon, can't I just say that God orchestrated the natural phenomenon?
Well, I can say my penis did it, right? Anybody
What?
can say
What are
anything.
you talking about?
I'm asking you for
genuinely?
evidence of your claim. I
No,
don't
I'm
care.
saying that
I don't care about hypothesizing magic things. I want
it's
evidence
not
of your
magical at
magic.
all. I'm not talking about magic at all. I'm saying that the
Okay,
universe is
then
finite.
look. This is the last time I'm going to ask you, right?
Are you
Just
going to
give
say
evidence.
that energy comes out of nothing, or
Look, just give evidence of your God, please.
okay? The universe is finite, and all finite things have a cause, right?
No.
So there has to be a causer.
Do you know what evidence means?
Yes.
What's
I'm
evidence?
giving logical evidence because I can't get a Polaroid
what is
camera.
evidence to you?
It could be logical, it could be empirical.
Correct. And what exactly is evidence? What's your definition of evidence?
Something that would prove a case.
Yeah, this is where we differ, right? I don't think evidence is proof. Evidence is something, piece of data or evidence or facts that point to some specific conclusion being true over another.
Yeah, I'm pointing to a conclusion by mentioning the finality of the universe.
That still doesn't point to God because it points equally to something natural, right? That's why that's not evidence.
No, because even if it pointed to something natural, I could just say that God orchestrated it, and whatever was
And
natural.
I know you can say that before you said that, right? I'm
Yeah.
asking you for evidence now, something that points us to God and lowers the probability of those other hypotheses being correct. That's evidence, right? That's what we
Okay.
want. That's what evidence means here.
Okay,
Do
do
have
all
that for
effects have
God?
a cause?
Yes, and that's not
Okay, so
relevant to the
therefore,
existence of a God.
logically it follows that there's a causer.
Look, I don't think you're quite grasping this, right? Even if I grant you a beginning to the universe, it doesn't mean God did it. There's no indicative evidence that points to
No.
God doing it.
No,
There's no
it just proves that there's a creator. That's it. That's all I'm trying to prove.
No, it doesn't prove anything, right? The beginning could have been caused by something natural.
Exactly, and that natural thing that would cause the universe would be God by definition.
Oh, so then your version of God could be a quantum field.
No, my definition of God is just creator. That's it.
Okay. So why must that creator exist? What's the evidence of that creator?
Because he'd be the necessary thing. He'd be the first mover that is that.
How did you make that conclusion? Can you give the evidence for that conclusion?
Because everything in motion is caused by something else moving it. You can't have something moved without a mover.
Okay, then what caused God to move to make the universe?
Well, since that he created the universe, he has to live outside of the universe, so he's not bound by the same laws of our universe. It's just like a potter can't be a pot.
How do you know that? How did you know that ad hoc nonsense? How do you know that shit?
What?
What's the evidence of that thing?
Because if you're creating the universe, you have to live outside of the universe. That logically follows.
I'm asking you for the evidence of this thing outside the universe. Do you have that?
No, I'm saying that presupposing that if something created the universe,
I know you can make that. I know you can infer that logically speaking, but I can do this for any other hypothesis.
Yeah, but you just conceded that logical arguments are also evidences.
No, it's not just logic that's evidence. It has to be.
I can't get a Polaroid camera. Are you asking me to take a photograph of God?
Ma'am, you have to just let me speak, right?
Okay, you can speak.
Shh. When we use logic as evidence, it has to be a sound and valid argument.
What was unsound?
Hold on. Logic has to be valid and sound and enabling you to infer some being that would raise the likelihood of some conclusion being correct over another. That's logical evidence, right?
Yeah, I just raised the likelihood of God existing.
No, you didn't, because all you're saying is God did it. That's all your logic is doing.
No, I'm saying
You're
that
just saying
because
God did it, just as I can say a magic penis did it, right?
what? No, that doesn't correlate at all.
I can just say there. Look. Just like you say God did it, I can say there's a magic penis who's outside the universe that did it, right? Is that logically
That's a
follow?
created thing that lives inside
No,
of the
it's
universe.
a necessary being. It's a magic penis that's necessary, and it made the universe. Do you agree that that's logically consistent?
No, that doesn't follow. And that's like a
Why
complete
doesn't
straw
it
man.
follow? Why doesn't it follow?
It doesn't follow because I'm saying that it lives outside of the universe when
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not even
saying
gonna
that
repeat
this
what you're
magic
saying.
penis is outside the universe.
Okay, can we just be like a little bit appropriate? Like that's kind of disgusting what you're saying.
Oh my gosh, ma'am. You gotta be. Are you actually over 18? I highly fucking doubt this at this moment.
You asked me like 3 times. Like you asked me what like a W-2 is. Like I'm employed. I work at Dunkin' Donuts. Like I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. So do you understand why I said what I just said? Just as you say God did it, I can say magic penis did it. Magic artichoke, magic banana, magic orange. It
No,
has the
okay,
same explanatory
but an
power.
orange would be
Can you
something
just
that is
let me
created.
speak? Ma'am, please.
Wait, I'm just gonna ask you one question.
Oh my
How can an
fucking God.
orange,
Oh my
comment?
fucking God. Shh.
See, you're
Just as you say a magic God did it, I can say something magic outside the universe did it too, and it's not your God. That's the point.
I know, but I'm saying,
So
why are you muting me?
please give the evidence of your hypothesis, please.
Tell the lie.
Shh.
He's
Give
muting.
the evidence of your hypothesis. Please
I am, but you're not letting me.
do it.
Okay, so since you're muting me, I'm gonna have to continue now. Okay, so an orange is something that is material and it doesn't
No,
fit into the
it's a
classical.
magic orange. It's not material.
What? How can an orange be not material?
Well, how can your God be not material?
Because he
It's
lives
the
outside
same
of the
logic.
universe.
It's the same logic. Do you see?
No, it's not. What is the classical theist definition of God?
You tell me, ma'am. And your job is to demonstrate that thing exists. You're not doing that right now.
Okay, so the classical theist definition of God is that he would be the three omnis: omnibenevolent, omnipotent, and omniscient. I can't pronounce these correctly, but you get the point. Okay, so he would also be immaterial. He lives outside of the universe and all physical laws. So just like how if you were a potter and you
Yeah,
were
and
making a
that
pot,
definition makes no sense. It's completely
how
incoherent.
can you like give me a reason why that definition doesn't make sense?
How are you outside the universe? How is it logically possible to be outside of existence?
It's no, it's no, it being outside of the universe doesn't equal being outside of existence. That doesn't even follow.
Okay. Is God omniscient? He
Yeah.
knows the future.
Yep.
Do we
It
have
does.
free will? Do we have free will?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so then God knows what I'll be doing before I do it, right? So
Yes.
that means how can we have free will if God knows what I'll be doing? It must be the
Just
case
because
that
God knows that you're going to have full responsibility, you have full
hold on,
autonomy.
hold on. I know you're so anxious, but just relax. If God knows my future, I can't change it. It's bound to happen. It's determined to happen, right? So that's why this definition doesn't make coherent sense to me. Well, he's outside the laws of physics. What does that even mean, right? What does that even mean? Supreme being, what do these even mean? They're incoherent to me. Omniscient, is it even possible to know everything? Couldn't there be something outside of God's knowledge that he's not aware about, right? Or omnipotence, what does that mean? How do you do all things? This can lead to contradictions too. That's why this, she leave? Okay, well, That was utter insanity. She got banned.
Hi.
Hi, what's your argument?
I guess it's not really an argument. I'm not really like a debate type, so I just kind of want to talk. But I guess my big thing is, so I grew up Catholic and I hated it, whatever, I'm not going to give you a witness story, but I couldn't figure out if God existed, right? Because
Okay.
I guess our big thing is
So,
that
so fortunately, I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear your story, but right now we're kind of debating, right?
I guess,
So
yeah,
can
I
you
don't
just-
think you're really into conversing. I think you're just a dick. So see you later.
Okay, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm really not. I just want you to get to the data because we have lots of people that want to come in, right? I just want you to get to it. I mean, we can have a talking session later, but
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with one thing. I want you.
hey, how are you? Yeah, Christian love until you say that, move it on.
Howdy.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, and what's your argument today?
My argument is you can't explain to me how God doesn't exist.
That doesn't mean he does exist, right?
Okay, well, if we take the position of intelligent design, we can look at multiple ways that he does exist. So,
Okay, so what's your evidence for your God?
why do I have to provide evidence if you don't have to provide evidence?
Well, look, you don't have to talk to me today, right? You can go away and run away, but look, I'm here to get evidence for God. If you don't have it, then go,
Okay, so there is no way to prove that there is and is not a God. So you, by getting people who are either ignorant or arrogant to that fact,
do you have
and
evidence for
is
God
you're
or
doing
not?
something called rage baiting.
It's
Do you know what rage baiting is?
do you have
You're not
evidence?
having a meaningful conversation.
Look, do you have evidence or not? It's that simple. You don't have to do this complaint.
All right. So please prove to me that the theory of evolution is better than intelligent design.
Okay. First of all, this has no relevance to God. Second of all,
How does it not?
evolution's not a
Intelligent design
theory.
is all about a creator.
Evolution's not a theory, it's a fact. We can
It's a
observe
theory.
evolution.
It's incomplete.
No. So what
Yes,
do you
it
think
is.
what do you think a scientific theory means?
Okay, so have we seen proof of macroevolution on a scale in modern day? Any
Yes.
example of
Yeah,
macroevolution?
Yes, it's called Richard Zelinsky's experiment with E. coli. He took a species of E. coli.
No, we haven't seen it
introduced
in
it-
mammals. We haven't seen it
so
in
you're not gonna let me talk about the
I'm talking about in mammals or other kinds of animals, not microorganisms.
Oh, so you want macroevolution in the mammal,
Yeah. I mean, why haven't we
but
seen
not in another species?
In recorded
why
history.
only a mammal? Why do you reject macroevolution in other species?
it? I don't reject it. I subscribe to the belief
Okay,
that
then you should
humans were designed the way they were,
then
and
you
we have
should
microevolution.
Nate, then you should accept macroevolution in E. coli.
There's
which
no
has
proof.
been observed by Richard
In
Linsky.
mammals or other things.
Nate, you have to listen.
You're a
You
joke.
have to listen. You have to listen. I know you want so badly to, go, oh, look, you don't have a being transforming like Power Rangers.
I never said that. I'm a
That's not
deist.
evolution. Okay, great. Then you should understand what macroevolution means. Do you even know what macroevolution is?
It's evolution of a wide variety that happens over a period of time. So basically, humans, they're saying that we became from Homo erectus to
Sir,
Homo
you don't
sapien.
know what
There is no
macroevolution
evidence of that in modern times.
Sir, you don't know what
Chimpanzees aren't
macroevolution is.
evolving.
Do you know the difference between micro and macro?
Yes, obviously, bro. Do you?
What is it?
Do you?
Yes.
Micro
what
is on a
difference,
small
sir?
scale, macro is on a large scale.
A scale of what?
Dude, you're playing semantics. You understand what I'm
Scale of
saying.
what, sir? Scale of what?
You're playing semantics, dude.
Scale of what?
You're playing semantics. You
So
understand what I'm saying.
So you're not going to answer?
So you're not going to go with my argument? You're not going to try to disprove my
Your
argument?
argument is malformed.
Where is macroevolution an example in modern day?
Sir, what is macroevolution?
Please give me an example of macroevolution in modern day.
I already did. You just don't have
That's in
brain power to-
microorganisms. That's not in mammals. It's not in
It's still
any other
macro. It's
species
still
of animals.
macroevolution.
It doesn't have, dude. Your only evidence is from organisms. You're not understanding microorganisms.
We're
Nothing
organisms
on
too.
a human, not an animal.
Nate. We have the fossil record. We have our DNA too, right? If you want to look at mammalian evolution, we have our DNA sequencing, chromosomal fusions. Chromosome 2 is a prime example of this. It demonstrates our evolutionary past with chimpanzee ancestors about 6 million years ago. That is macroevolution observed. And we can go into direct observation in a lab setting with Richard Linsky's experiment in the 90s, where he observed generational change. That's macroevolution. Macroevolution is generational change, okay, long term. That is observed in lab settings, and that debunks your entire notion. So, do you have a counter, or you're just gonna run today?
No, I don't think there's a good argument for macroevolution. I just don't think there is.
Okay, so you're going to reject Richard Linsky's experiments. You're going to reject DNA sequencing. You're going to reject the fossil record.
Yes, there's no evidence of it in recorded history.
There's no evidence.
There is no evidence.
So what if I told you we can literally observe macroevolution in a lab setting like Richard Linsky's in the 1990s?
I would ask for evidence and proof.
We have it. You can look it up, right? Richard Linsky's experiment. Take a look. Go look at E. coli over 60,000 generations. I'll give you the title of the freaking study. The dynamics of macroevolution over 60,000 generations. Richard Linsky, Benjamin Good, and Michael McDonald. Okay, that's the title of the study.
By Richard Linsky?
Yes, Richard Linsky.
Okay, so they're studying E. coli, and it's an experiment, an ongoing study, an experimental evolution. So do you not understand? It's an ongoing experiment.
Yeah, that demonstrates evolution.
No, okay, if it was, it'd be a fact. It's an experiment.
It is a fact. Evolution's a fact.
No,
now,
it's not.
Now, can you go ahead and...
It's the theory of evolution.
Go ahead and... No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The theory of evolution via natural selection is a theory, okay? However, evolution refers to genetic change over time, right? Allele frequency changes over generational time. That is something we can observe, right? The theory of natural selection is a theory, but a theory is not just a random idea.
Okay, so do we have the complete genetic tree of humans over time? It's incomplete. They don't have the complete genetic tree of humans.
That doesn't mean evolution's false.
Yes, it does.
How? How does that mean evolution's false?
Because where does the jump from that to Homo sapien come from?
We can see the mutations in our DNA. I just explained to you.
So it's just based on a guess.
Nate, no, it's based on fusions of chromosomes we can directly observe.
There's holes in the theory of evolution.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me.
Theory of evolution.
Do you know what a genetic mutation is?
Yes.
Do you know what a chromosomal fusion is?
I understand both of
What
these
are
terms.
they? What are they? What are they?
I'm not playing this game
What
with
are
you.
they? What are they, Nate? Explain to me what they are.
You're playing a game of trying to have
No,
me define
what are
these
they?
words.
What are they? What are they?
You're playing, dude. You're literally playing.
He doesn't know a damn thing. about evolution. That's why he's confused. I can't talk to somebody like that. They are not serious. If they were serious, they would actually look at the paper and try to refute it, but they can't. He doesn't know a damn thing about evolution, and many other people don't know either. That's why they think intelligent design is a thing. And you literally have to wear glasses to see properly.
I apologize. I will be brief, but I just needed to break up the lunacy for you because this is getting maddening. It must be amateur hour on these chat things. The question is right there. God is imaginary. Can you prove me wrong? Any of these sidebar conversations off into the universe and what
Okay, sir.
it's
Do you
not
have
answering anything.
okay. Do you agree with me or not, sir?
I absolutely 100% agree with you. I just
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you tonight?
Great.
So, I do have evidence. You may or may not accept it. I'm a therapist, and I've studied world religions, and I've studied quantum dynamics and things of that nature. My evidence is this:
Dynamics.
throughout,
Ma'am, what is quantum dynamics?
you're getting off my point. Do you want to hear my argument or not?
Unfortunately.
My argument is this: throughout human history, there have been millions of people who have had spiritual experiences involved with divine beings. So to say that all God or all gods or all aspects of God are imaginary, you have to say that all those people are psychotic.
No, we could just say they were mistaken, right? So what's your evidence
No,
of God now?
I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist. You can't say that.
Ma'am, so what's your evidence of God now?
That people have experience of it and some don't. And the people who don't have a hard time believing it.
And how do you know that those experiences mean they experience God and not something that they made up in their imagination or hallucinated?
That's what I'm trained in. Okay,
So can you answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
It involves talking about what psychotic process versus psychotic content is.
Okay,
Psychotic
so
content
can you provide
is
the
like,
evidence? So can you provide the evidence that they were not hallucinating or dreaming or imagining things, and that they were actually talking to God?
yes. Because when you rule out the things that it's not, you're left with the thing that it is. And that is, by the way, encoded in our code of ethics.
That's very fallacious. That's very
therapists.
fallacious.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
very
embedded
fallacious.
in our code. No, you're fallacious on this. This is my area of expertise, not yours.
Man, you keep appealing to your own authority. That's not
Yes.
that's fallacious reasoning by
No,
definition.
I'm appealing to the code of.
Ma'am,
Listen,
ma'am.
Okay, I'll give you one more chance to listen. I'm not here to listen to you. I'm here to present you with an argument.
You didn't get it yet. We didn't hear
Well,
it.
if you be quiet and let me speak, you'll get it. Okay. The code of ethics in every school of psychology, whether you're a social worker, a nurse, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, says that if there is a cultural basis for that kind of experience, it is valid and real to that person and to that community, and accepted as a reality and not a psychosis. And that is
okay, ma'am. So, Miss Psychologist lady, when people have schizophrenia, does that mean they're really seeing like penguins in their rooms? Are they really seeing like these monsters in their room when they have schizophrenia?
Well, I tried to explain to you, but you cut me off about the difference between psychotic content and psychotic process.
Okay, great. So how did you distinguish these two experiences in your people that you say have seen God? How did you know
Because they don't have psychotic process. They only have a content that some people, like yourself, would label as psychotic, but is not
great.
widely
So how do
accepted
you
to be
know? Okay, great.
psychotic.
So how do you know that they were talking to God?
I've already answered that question.
So what was the experiment you've done to demonstrate God?
Not everything can be tied up in an experiment. This is a logical fallacy that you
Well,
have.
I'm sorry, man, but you need some way of demonstrating that God it was experience. I mean, experience is an empirical
Give
thing.
me 5 years of your life, and I'll give you that experience.
Man, this isn't OF or something, right?
This
I'm
is
asking
what?
you to give evidence of your God. And
I
so
don't-
far, all you're doing is, oh, well, they had certain experiences. Okay, elaborate. Show us how you know, how you distinguished these psychonic experiences from a psychotic or whatever. Show me how you got to God, man. We're still waiting.
I don't understand the question. I've already presented you the evidence. Maybe you're not asking in a way that I'm understanding.
How did you falsify God?
How do you falsify God? What does that mean?
How do you distinguish that it was God you were talking to and not imagination?
That's a good question. In many cases, there is more scientific evidence. Do you know about Ibn Alexander?
Okay, great. So what's the scientific evidence of this God?
Do you know of Ibn Alexander?
No.
Ibn Alexander is a neuroscientist who was an atheist. He had a death experience where his brain filled up with pus. Why are you making faces? It's very hard to talk to somebody with such a bad attitude.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm done here. Bye.
No, I wanted the evidence. Damn it. I tried, guys. I tried.
Fuck. I've been waiting for this. Bro, if God is not real, if God is imaginary, why in the world would you make a TikTok live debating if he real or not?
Because I'm just curious. So do you have evidence?
Like that's like sitting around debating if Santa Claus real.
No, because people use their belief in God to do terrible things, like
But
try to do
people
abortion.
also use Santa Claus to give presents. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my kids some presents, and I'm gonna tell them Santa Claus did it.
Yank.
That
People
don't make
use
sense.
their.
So if God is not real and he is
You
imaginary,
have to
why are we
relax.
sitting
You
here
have
debating?
to relax. You have to relax.
I'm relaxed. No, I'm just asking. Like, do that make sense?
You have to let me speak.
I'm asking. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
The reason why I do these lives is because people can use their belief in God to do very bad things.
Uh-huh.
They use their belief in God to vote negatively. They use their
So why don't you blame them?
Because we're trying to deconstruct people, right? So do you understand now what deconstruction means?
No. You got to blame the person. If somebody
Yeah,
were to go
we
on
are
and
by
if
showing
someone
them
were
how
to
wrong
go
they
on
are.
and SA somebody, if
look.
somebody SA somebody, right?
You're not listening.
If somebody
You're not
SA
listening.
somebody,
You're not listening.
if some,
You are the people who believe in God. That's what we're trying. You came up here. You're the one who came up to my live, Skank, right? You're the one who came up to me and said, "Why do you believe? Why do you do this?" And I'm trying to explain to you, and you're not listening. I'm trying to help people who think that terrible things should happen and not know it. There's many reasons why I do this, but I don't even owe you a fucking explanation. Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Yourself?
Great.
All right. So I've been waiting for a little while, but you want to know why God isn't imaginary. First, I want to start out with, God had walked the earth before in name with Jesus.
Okay, great. So do you have evidence for that?
Yeah, there's plenty of evidence. So if you have witnesses over thousands and thousands of people that wrote about this person that walked the earth, and let's just say, there's a painter, and you see an art, but you don't know the painter, right? So he has this picture drawn, and there had to be a painter that made that art. So, or let's just say,
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
if you see
They
so
just say
if you
like,
see
go ahead.
right, so if you see a painting, you know there's a painter, and I agree with you, right? That's
Yeah,
because we have prior knowledge of painters. But
right.
when I see a rainstorm, I don't think there's a rainmaker in the clouds, do I? Right? Do I think there's a rain man in the clouds making the rain come down? Right? No, right? When I see a volcano, do I go, oh, there must be magma man again? He's in the magma, pushing the magma up the volcano, right? No, I don't think there's a person or an agency behind magma or rain.
Well,
That's why
let's just say,
this is why we can posit a natural mechanism behind everything around us. We never
uh,
need to invoke a magic man.
all right. So what about, how do you know Abraham Lincoln's real?
We have his body, we have his documentation, we have his birth certificate, we have photos, videos, or well, photos of him. We have his documents of all memoirs and
Right.
journals
So
and witnesses,
you said
thousands and
documents.
thousands of cross reference
So,
witnesses across the globe.
there were so many documents about Jesus that walked on this earth
Oh,
that if
really?
you
Where are they?
it, no, they're in the museums everywhere. That the strobes that they find
Oh, okay.
everywhere, you can stack them
So,
up. You know,
okay.
they so many. Hold on, let me talk. I'll let you talk. So you can stack these strobes up that everybody wrote about all these miracles that they witnessed that he performed and all the things that he did on earth, that you can stack them up, and they said it would go almost 3.5 miles high. And if the Bible, let's just say if the Bible's fake, let's just say if there's fake, there's over 66 writers in the Bible. And all right, so how can they be so precise? You can't find one contradiction in the Bible at all. And if you can, name
The
one.
first sentence is a contradiction. In the
Like what?
beginning, there is no beginning necessarily. Or how about Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark?
How
That's
can you
never
how
happened.
can you prove there's no beginning?
What
How did this all
I
start?
said not necessarily there's a beginning, right? The Bible is making claim after claim with no
He's
evidence.
talking about, yeah, he's
Adam and
talking
Eve,
about on earth.
Adam and Eve never happened, right? There's no
Why do
evidence
you?
of that happening. The flood never happened. Talking
All
dog.
right. Well, there's plenty of evidence in that. So there's so many evidence because
You
Adam
keep
and Eve. It
okay,
goes down.
bam, damn. You keep saying there's lots and lots of evidence, but you're not giving a single piece.
But I gave you a couple. I gave you a couple already. So there's thousands of people that wrote about Jesus, and
Okay,
there's no contradiction in the Bible. If you look at the cross referencing,
sir.
Hold on, you ain't letting me talk.
Can I respond here?
If you look at the cross reference in the Bible that's talking about the Old Testament, and it talks about the New Testament and tells you everything that's going to happen in the New Testament. If you go in the Old Testament and you read, and it prophesies in the
Okay,
Old.
all right, sir. Thank you for talking and yapping. The problem with what you're saying is it's completely fallacious. Just because something doesn't have contradictions doesn't mean that it's true, right? There's lots of stories like Spider-Man. There's no contradictions in the story of Spider-Man, but it's not true. Just because we have lots of documents doesn't make it necessarily true either. And by the way, you have yet to show one extra biblical document. You haven't.
All right.
And
Well,
furthermore, there's many wrong things about the Bible, and you have not given a
name
single piece of
one.
evidence for it.
Name one that's wrong. You haven't yet. Name one.
One what?
One contradict in the Bible.
Noah's Ark never happened.
All right. How
Talking
come
snakes
How
never
come they
happened.
got it on top of the mount? On Mount in Russia or whatever is that right now that they proved. How about the Red Sea that got split? That they got so much proof on. Like, how about
Where
all
you
these?
keep saying there's so much proof, but you're not giving any proof.
Well, how am I going to give it to you on paper right here? I can't.
Well,
You have to
you can
do a
just
little bit
point
of
me
research.
you can just point me in the direction of these
All
peer-reviewed
right.
studies.
Research the Red Sea. Hold on. Here's another one. Research Sodom and Gomorrah about the sulfur fires that rained down. They got so much sulfur in that town they got burned, melted by the ground by God.
Or perhaps, do you know where sulfur also comes from?
All right. All right. No,
No, no,
just
no,
answer
no.
that one.
Do you
How
know,
come it was
sir,
in that
please,
one
please,
area?
please, do you
It's
know where
only in that.
sulfur,
It,
sir,
it's
do you
actually in
know,
that one area.
look, you're saying there's sulfur in the mountains, all right? And I'm telling you that there's sulfur in space rocks. They're called asteroids. They also can create fire. It turns out that scientists have discovered that was an asteroid impact that caused that sulfur and that fire. It wasn't your magic god, sir. It was a rock. Okay? Now, I'm asking you to demonstrate your God exists. and stop saying, how do you explain this? How do you explain that? It's not evidence. Evidence is positive. It gets us towards something. Can you do that, please? Hello? We can't hear you when you're Googling, sir. You still there, sir? Hello? Maybe he got raptured.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Great.
So, how does science explain life, like in its entirety? Like,
Okay.
what's the point of us
So,
finite beings?
what's the point of God?
I mean, that's more of a rational reason than just us being made on accident.
Did God come by accident?
No,
Okay, then we can say that the universe isn't an accident either, right? There's nothing you can do with your religion that is better than naturalism.
that's basically the same thing. Naturalism, doesn't that sound like the
No,
same thing?
naturalism does not require a God to be the case, right? So again, I'm asking you for evidence of God.
So that's my point. The universe just randomly decided to do this, randomly decided to make beings. And if you want to really talk about life,
No, you can't
it
say that,
should be on
sir.
every planet.
Sir, you can't say that. We don't know if it's random or not. It could be determined, right? The universe could be determined or necessarily this way. You can't
So if the
assume.
universe has a mind,
You can't create this false dichotomy. It's either random or God. No, there's other options.
that's what I'm at. So what determines these factors? Just the universe? Does the universe have a brain in itself? Is that what you're
What determines it is just the laws of nature themselves. They're necessarily this way. They're brute facts. They don't need explanations.
so
Right?
you're going
It's
to
like
say
asking
that?
what determined God to be that way. Right? It's like
So
it just is.
let me get this just completely right. It's illogical for a higher being to be outside of the universe and shaping our universe, but it's more logical that the universe
I'm not
itself is
saying it's
doing it.
illogical. I'm saying there's no evidence of your position being true.
And there's no evidence of the Big Bang. There's no evidence of the edge of the universe. There's no evidence for the universe being infinite. There's no evidence for it to start or infinite.
Okay.
These are all speculations.
There is evidence of the Big Bang. The Big Bang is very observable. We have the CMB radiation. We have the redshifting of galaxies, the early primordial gas
And
clouds.
this is
and
all
the
just stuff that we
primordial
can
dust.
access in our own present. Like this is all stuff we can access.
We can
We
see
only
the Big
carbonate
Bang,
this
sir. We
between
can
what we
see the
can
Big
access.
Bang happening all around us. The Big Bang is all around us.
Like,
Literally.
would you say there's a center to the universe?
No.
No, right? So, I mean, again, what do you say that this would all start? Like, there's no. You say there's evidence for the Big Bang, but you also say that it's infinite, that it never had a start. So, which one is it? The
What do you
start
think the
or
Big
not the
What do you
start?
think the Big Bang is?
The Big Bang is the constant pressure of all the materials in our observable universe being combined into one, then expanding back out, right? Just
No.
to start up our universe or something like that.
No, the Big Bang is simply the expansion of a pre-existing universe, right? It's just the expansion. We can observe it. So, do you have actual evidence of God now, or
Yeah, like I said, life. I mean, we even questioning God in ourselves. We're what's the point of consciousness in that point if we're just here
like when
to
you
die?
ask these questions? What's the point of this? What's the point of that? I can ask the same thing about God. What's the point of God? It doesn't do anything for you. I'm asking for
Like
evidence
the
of
outside
your
source
God.
that adds this illogical.
Sir, please, I can't. All I'm asking for is evidence of your God. Do you know what that means? Do I have to explain to you what
Yes.
evidence means? Okay.
Let me try to reiterate then.
Okay.
Like I said,
Then just give the data that demonstrates God then. Okay.
scientifically, life doesn't have any reason or rhyme. That's the illogical factor that
All
puts
right. Have a
Eve.
good day, sir.
Okay,
Enjoy
good.
your day. Bye. Life doesn't have no rhyme or reason. therefore God, as if that gives it like rhyme and reason all of a sudden. No, even if God existed, life is still mysterious. Life is still meaningless. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Great.
I just have one question. Um, so you 100% believe that there is no God? Like you don't believe that
I
there
don't see
could be
evidence of
people
God.
believing?
Do you have evidence for God? I don't see evidence for it.
I feel like when it comes down to evidence, just like in your theory of you saying that the Big Bang theory is true, I can't process how like somebody with a a degree in science or archaeologist that can predict when the Big Bang theory happened. You know, it all comes down to
Look, I
faith.
don't know why you guys keep
You
doing
don't.
this. You don't know a damn thing
What do
about
you
the
mean?
Big Bang. Stop.
It
You don't
doesn't.
know a
You
damn
don't know
thing about the
nothing about
fucking
the
Big
Big
Bang.
Bang because nobody was.
I don't know why you guys do this all the time, right? The Big Bang ain't real. You don't know a damn fucking thing about the Big Bang. I guarantee you don't know what it means. Explain to me what the Big Bang is. Please go ahead.
Bruh, I literally just sit here and watch you.
Bruh, what is the Big Bang, bruh?
I'm not about to answer your
Bruh, what's the
question.
Big Bang,
The
bruh?
point.
What's the Big Bang?
It's just you just being ignorant. You
You
like I
don't
don't
know
understand.
you don't know what the
There's
Big
no
Bang
proof
is.
of the Big Bang theory happening,
What's
bro.
the Big Bang?
Are you serious? You literally just had
What's
somebody
the
up here
Big Bang?
explaining what the Big Bang is. I'm not gonna
What
explain
is
it.
the Big
No,
Bang?
I'm not. What's
What's
the
the Big
point?
Bang?
I'm not answering your question, nerd.
I'm just so tired of people doing this all the time. The Big Bang never happened. It never happened. Okay, what is it? Do you even know what the fuck it is? All the Big Bang is, guys, is the expansion. That's it. That's all it means. And we observe it. We can see the expansion. Go learn some science. There's so much content out there, people explaining to you what the Big Bang is. Right? So for you to come up to these conversations, you have to know a little bit of science, or else nobody can help you. It's just not going to happen, you know? Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great.
That's good. So do you believe in different dimensions?
Okay. Do you have evidence of God or no? I'm not going
Yes.
to answer your dumb
And
question.
it
So
is
what's your evidence of God? What is your evidence of God now?
well, first of all, the Bible, like the other guy said, has a lot of evidence.
Okay.
Like people
First of
like
all,
to
first of all,
deny
I'm sorry.
Noah's
I
Ark,
cannot
but
talk to you if you're going to consume food. I just can't do that. Okay. So are you going to stop eating food or do I have to kick you?
okay, I won't eat then.
Okay, great.
Anyways,
So the Bible isn't evidence. It's a story, right? So I'm asking you for the
yeah,
evidence that
history
the
is
Bible is
evidence.
true. What?
History is evidence.
We don't know if it's history, right? Do you think
You
talking
just said it
donkeys?
was history.
Do you think talking donkeys existed in history?
Talking donkeys. When is there anything about talking donkeys in the Bible?
Numbers 22.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that part of talking donkeys.
Yeah, you should read it. You should read that part, sir. Wait till you get to the
Anyways,
talking
it could
sea.
also be talking donkeys, like you're just using something that may not sound real as a way to like laugh of the Bible, but it could be like a misinterpretation or something like that as well.
Oh, okay. So then you don't know if it's history or not. It could be a metaphor, right? See, this is the reason why you can't come up here and say the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. It's unreliable. You have no way of falsifying it.
Then why is it?
Precisely the issue.
Why has it survived all these years if it's unreliable?
Because they forced it on people, or else they would kill you.
But right now they don't force it on people anymore, and it still survives. They don't force it on people anymore.
The Romans would force a Bible in your face, or they would kill you. They literally did that to people, right? And the reason why it's stuck today is because it's traditional. People love tradition. Okay, that's just what they do traditionally.
So you're suggesting that all these people, the majority of the population,
I'm asking you
believe in
for
God.
evidence now, right? So do you have the evidence of God?
Well, I guess that could be evidence, the amount of people that believe in God.
That's an ad populum fallacy. That's an ad populum fallacy. Do you know what that means?
What?
Do you know what an ad populum is?
No.
It's when you believe something is true precisely on the reason that many people believe it, right? Or it's a popular opinion. That's not, that's fallacious reasoning. Okay, many people believe that the earth was round, flat, but we know that's not true, right? So it's a fallacious reason. Do you have another reason?
Let's see. The Bible, what does it have? The Bible. Well, there is Jesus. He has a lot of things that make sense, like with love and peace and a very good message.
So did Barney. I love you. Does that mean Barney's real?
Yeah, but Barney was not as in depth as Jesus.
Okay, so Barney had to go to college, then you'd think he's correct and true and real, right? Like, I'm sorry, sir, but just because you think a story is cute and makes sense to you, it wouldn't make it true, right?
Yeah, I guess that depends on the point of view of different people.
No, it depends on the evidence, right? It depends on the data that's falsifiable. So, do you have that, or should I kick you out?
Yeah, I give up.
Well, you don't have to give up, right? Look, I'm here to challenge people. It's going to get heated, for sure. But it's okay to not know things. It is perfectly fine to not know things. The problem is when you pretend to know things, right? That's why I'm here. I'm here to challenge you, to make you question, to make you be uncomfortable. That's what it takes to change.
Hello?
Hi, how can I help you?
Give me one moment to gather it. So, exactly in, let me get the citation number. I'm just kidding. I just want to hang up on you.
Okay. Next. Keep tapping, guys. Please.
Hello?
Thank you for tapping. Hi, how are you?
Hello?
Hi.
Doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Great.
Oh my God. Can you hear me now?
Yes. How can we help you? Okay. Oh, man. Hi.
What's up? All right, so first thing, you said the Bible's a story, right?
Yeah. So do you have evidence of God?
Well, I mean, the God of the Bible, yeah. So the Bible, there's archaeological and historical evidence for it. You could look at there's documents on both sides as well. So like for instance, Jerusalem in 701 BC, there was a siege that happened. The Syrian king Sennacherib did a siege on Jerusalem. Yeah, 701 BC. You could look that up, all that.
That was before the Bible was written.
No. The Bible's been what? No, bro.
The siege?
There's
What
a
about
Syrian
what about
there's
the
a
siege
Syrian
demonstrates that God exists, sir?
well, it points to the Bible being accurate.
How?
Truthful.
How?
All right, so 701 BC, there was a siege on Jerusalem. There's Assyrian documents from King Sennacherib, all that, and then there's the biblical documents from Jerusalem on King Hezekiah, and they both match up. That was one instance,
They
right?
match up, and what do they demonstrate?
What do they demonstrate? What do you mean by that?
What in the Bible demonstrates its own veracity, right? Demonstrates its own truth. Do you have that piece of data?
I don't even know what that means. I just gave you like a piece of.
I'm just asking you how you know the Bible's true, right?
So, how I know it's true? I mean, I just gave you that little instance. There's both sides, both documents from bro. What? There's the Assyrian side that gave the account of the siege, and then there's a biblical side, the biblical text, Torah, Dead Sea Scrolls, all
Okay,
that.
congratulations. There was a siege. How does this mean there's a magic man who died for me on a stick?
It's not magic, bro.
Well, he walked on water. He turned his body into bread like a muffin man, right? It sounds like a magic wizard to me.
It's deeper than that.
It sounds like Chris Angel on steroids.
All right, well, let me think of a different argument then, because. All right, so Big Bang, it's a whole bunch of cells, molecules, all that, and that over millions of years that created us. I'm like, what's the point of life and death? Like, why are we here?
Well, why is God here? I mean, we can ask this: why does God exist?
So, God, with the knowledge, there's knowledge of good and evil, right? There's good and bad. That to me points that there's a God. I mean, we all spawn out of
or points of people having preferences, right? Maybe there's no God. It's just that people prefer things that are good, and then we don't prefer things, we call them bad, right?
Well, no, I think there's definitely truth, and that there's a good and evil. I mean, rape.
Okay, well, that still wouldn't mean God exists. You can still think that there's a truth about good or bad actions, and still be an atheist, right? Like, you don't have to. God doesn't have to be true for those things to hold. But more importantly, how do you know that there are good and bad actions, objectively speaking?
How do I know that there's good and bad actions? Objectively speaking. Can you go further in depth than that? What do you mean by that?
Do you know what objectivity means?
Like a little.
Okay. Well, come back when you know more about it, okay? Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. And what's your evidence for God?
He's just real, man. He showed himself to me. He turned my water into wine. Why are you laughing?
Okay. Well, have a good day, brother. Okay. Why is everybody so mad at me in the comments? It's so hilarious seeing people's panties in a wad. Hey, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, there's a little like lag. All right. How you doing? How you been?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I just I want this to be like a calm debate. I'm not really like a scholar or anything, but I am curious because like I'm conflicted with these. Like I was born a Muslim. My parents are Muslim. And do you know a little bit about like Muslims and what you know?
Yeah, I do. Now, do you have evidence for God or?
Okay, so my like I know you want me to show you physical evidence, but I have an explanation, right? There how do you know that dark matter exists? Like
Well,
how
we
do you
have
know?
gravitational lensing. We can measure it through gravitational lensing. We can see the effects it has in space and time. We can see their light distortions through space and time with telescopes.
Yes, but if I asked you to physically prove it to me, can you? Like show me.
There's no such thing as proof empirically. The evidence is strong though for dark matter. There's no evidence for God though.
But you can't hear, see, feel, you can't like show me it. Like how do I know it's actually there? Like
we can infer it based on the evidence, right? I don't see Australia from my house, but we know it's there because we have maps, we have satellite data, we have evidence. We have people's, testimonies about Australia and kangaroos. That's evidence of Australia. I don't have to see or hear it. I need some inference.
Why can't you say the same thing about God? I mean, you don't have to see.
You're right. You're correct. I would be, if you can give me some evidence that I can use to infer a God exists, do it. I'm waiting for that. Do you have that?
The evidence is you. You are the evidence.
Me?
Yes. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're breathing, the fact that everything is perfect, the fact that gravity has a perfect number, the fact that planets are
so the evidence of God is that I'm breathing. So if I stop breathing, that means God's not real?
What do you mean if you stop? What? What do you mean death? So you're talking about death? You dying is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it seems like you're saying the evidence of God is that we're here. Well, what if we didn't exist? Does that mean God doesn't exist? I don't think that would follow for you, right? That's not the reason why this is not evidence is because
what do you mean
when you say I'm evidence?
But you're
when you
saying
say I'm evidence. Hold on. Yeah, look, when you say I'm evidence, the reason why it's not good evidence is because I can be explained in other ways. There's other reasons why I am breathing. There's mechanistic reasons, naturally occurring reasons.
And who created those reasons?
Nobody created those reasons.
Nobody created those reasons.
That's like asking who created God. Nobody did.
But I'm not asking about God. I'm saying who created the reason why you can love, why you can feel emotions, why you can.
Nobody had to make it, right? It's just a natural necessity.
Like, okay, so you can't prove to me there is no God.
And you can't prove otherwise, right? We're not asking for proof. I'm asking for any evidence. And so far, you're not giving any valid evidence.
I mean, you started this live for a reason. You knew it would be a draw, technically. You knew that you can't prove to anyone that God isn't real, and they can't.
You start giving evidence for God, sir? We're still waiting.
I can't show you physical evidence.
Well, you should be able to show me any kind of evidence, right?
I mean, what do you want me to say? Like,
how do you know God exists? How do you know that God exists right now?
Because of the universe, because everything is perfect. Because the fact that if gravity was a decimal different, we would all die.
Oh, really? So if gravity was a little bit off, how much off would it have to be for me to die?
0.01, like everything would be out of balance.
0.01 in what units?
What do you mean, what units?
Yeah, what units of gravity you're talking about?
I mean, like the number of gravity, like
The number of gravity. I'm sorry, sir, but I think you're talking about the gravitational constant.
no, not concept. I mean, like, do you know like how the planets orbit each other? I mean, like, if we were any closer to the sun, we'd all burn up and die, right? Like,
How much closer? How much closer?
I don't know. I don't know how much closer, but I mean, like,
Okay, so then the problem with saying we would be a little bit closer, we'd all die, is the fact that you don't know how much closer. You
well,
don't know
that's
the
because
range.
that's
You
because
don't
I
know
don't
the
have a
range.
PhD.
Look, sir, look,
That's because
look.
I don't have a PhD. I don't have the
No,
exact
you
number
don't
of
need a
how.
PhD. The point is that you don't know the range of possible outcomes. And we do. When we look out in the universe with telescopes, we see a range of possible planets. There are some planets that are close to their stars and able to support life. There are
Yes.
some
Yeah.
there are some planets that are further away from their stars than ours and still able to
Yes.
support life. So the point is that there is a
Yeah, but
range of possibilities
is it
that
habitable? Are those
you are
planets?
discounting. Shh,
Hold
hold
on,
on,
wait.
hold on.
Hold on, wait. Are those planets as habitable as Earth? Those planets that you're talking about
They
that are
could
far
be
away.
they could be equally as habitable or even more habitable than our planet.
Prove it to me.
I said it's possible, right?
Then
That's
go
what we're talking
live
about.
there.
That's not relevant. We're saying it's possible that these other planets exist, and you're discounting them from your realm of possibilities.
I'm not discounting them. I'm just saying the fact that we're
Then
here.
you would never say that. Then you would never use this as evidence. Then you would never say, "Oh, if we were off by a little, we'd all be dead," because this only applies to us. How about the other billions of possibilities out there?
You're talking in theory. You're just telling me
You're
that there's.
talking fairy tale. You're talking fairy tale.
I'm not speaking fairy tale though. I'm saying that the fact that we're
Can you
here
show
on
me
Earth.
evidence that God exists?
I already told you.
No, what you told me is if we were different, we wouldn't exist. A caveman could have said that. Of course, if we were different, we wouldn't
Not
exist.
that we're different.
If God
not-
was
no,
different,
no.
he wouldn't exist either, right?
I'm
If
not
God was
saying
a
like.
little bit less moral, if God was a little bit less evil, he wouldn't be your God. The same could be said for any possible universe. The
But
question is,
that's like an atheistic view of it. God isn't just someone who's like big and bad or good or spiritual, or God is perfect. He's the most merciful. And to Muslims, he's not someone you
okay,
can
so
just
if God
describe.
was if God was a little bit less merciful, he wouldn't be God, right?
No, because he can't
He
be.
wouldn't be God, right?
Sure, he can't be less merciful.
Okay, great. So then the same logic that you use to, debunk atheism is the same logic I'm using to debunk your shit, right? If God was a bit different, he wouldn't be God. It doesn't mean anything.
But who are we to
It's a
say that?
tautology.
I mean, who are we to say that? We can't have a perspective on God because of how divine he is. That's why, like, we're
That's
finite.
like saying you can't have a perspective on, spaghetti monster, right? Who cares if you can't have a
But we
perspective on
created
it?
that concept.
You're
We
making a
created the
claim.
concept. We
Just like you
created spaghetti monster.
Just like you
created
created Allah, just like you created your Allah guy.
I didn't create him. That's the thing.
Prove you didn't.
Show me proof that one of us created him. Though.
You're
Show
the
me.
one making the claim that God exists. I'm saying I don't believe you. Show me. You're not doing that.
It's just because I'm not ignorant. That's why I believe in him. But I can't show you physical evidence that he exists.
I can just say the same thing. I don't believe in God because I'm not ignorant. See how this doesn't work? I'm asking you for evidence of your God. You're making the claim. You can run away if you want.
Okay. Do you believe in pain?
Yeah.
Can you visualize it? Can you see it? Can you see pain?
We can measure pain, yes.
No, not measure. I mean, can you see it? Can you see can you see pain?
For something to exist, we don't have to see it with our eyes. We need some way
You
of
can say
measuring
the same thing about God. Sure, I can't show
I
you physical evidence.
agree. That's why I'm asking you for some way to measure God, and you can't provide that.
And you can't show me physical evidence that pain actually exists, and you're
You didn't grasp what I just told you.
just not crazy.
You didn't grasp what I just told you, right? What I'm saying is, for something.
No, I know
to,
you said. You told me.
What did I say? What did I say?
You told me I can't show you evidence, right? Like, I understand. I can't.
No, that's not what I said.
But
So look. For something to exist, I don't have to see it with my two eyes. I need some way of measuring it, some way of inferring it with data. It could come from
Okay.
different sensory systems, but I need some way of measuring it. Now,
Okay.
so
Measuring
when
it.
you say, well, can you see pain with your eyes? Of course not. But we can measure it indirectly. We can measure with all kinds of machines and MRI thing, blah, 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 blah. The point is
Okay.
that we
Yeah.
know it exists because we have some reason for its existence. The same cannot be said for God.
There's no reason for
No,
to
there is
believe
no
in
good
God.
reason at all for God to exist, period.
Why not use historical like books? Like why not take I don't trust, look, I don't want to offend any Christians. I don't trust the Bible is completely reliable, but you could say the same thing about any other, thing. I believe the Quran is untouched and unchanged, right?
That doesn't
Maybe you
make it
don't.
true. That doesn't make it true. It's still wrong.
Why is it wrong?
Oh, you're kidding me. The Quran talks about talking snakes and, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark. It never happened. Talks about
Never happened.
cow's milk being pure. It gets embryology all wrong. It talks about talking ants. This is ridiculous. This is ancient goat herder stuff.
I mean, obviously you're going to view it as that because it's a miracle. And to believe in miracles, you have to believe in God, right? Like you can't believe that miracles will happen.
So then you've just conceded that you don't have any evidence. You have a miracle.
I mean, that's the same thing. A miracle and God, and like, isn't that the same thing to you? Like,
It's equally they're equally imaginary until you can show otherwise.
Well, then what is the point? Like, what is the point of living? Why?
To love, to learn, to
to love.
experience. That's why I'm here. I enjoy life. I don't need God for that.
I enjoy life too. I mean, yeah, but
okay. Well, you don't need God to enjoy. You don't need God. You don't need the Quran to enjoy your life. In fact, my life is way more enjoyable because I'm not Muslim.
But what if you see like this life? Like, why do you think innocent children get hurt? Like, why do you believe that happens? And why do you think good
shit happens?
Normal.
That's all you need to. That's all.
Preserve and live a happy life.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. That's it. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think it's like a test
simple.
or something?
It's that simple.
What if it's a test?
Okay, a test for what? To see how well people can suffer and die? That seems like a terrible test to me. There's a lot of unnecessary evil that occurs. That it seems like the test is never accomplished. No test is ever accomplished. How would a baby who's an infant and is suffering and they die, as an infant? What kind of fucking test is that?
I mean, as you said, shit happens, right?
In my view, it makes sense. Shit happens. In your view, if you're going to take a test, well, that makes no sense anymore, right? That makes no sense if God exists.
I mean, I can't. I mean, look, there is like two different perspectives to have on this, right? Like one, they just, would you consider a religious person a sheep in your view because they just follow?
No, simply misinformed.
Misinformed. But like, what if they're choosing the latter because the reason that they have like, oh, I just don't decide to believe in a God, just like, well, what do you gain from that? You don't really, like nothing hurts you by believing to choose to believe in God.
Oh, sure it does. Sure it does. If I believe in God, I've now succumbed to some kind of ideology that I'm forced to be chained to. I'm tethered to it for the rest of my life. I can't think outside of that anymore. I'm not able to freely think. When I leave religion, I was able to think freely for the first time about existence. When you believe in God, you're more fear-based in your decisions, right? You do things because of a certain paradigm that you're attached to. There's a lot of benefits for not believing in God, right? Let alone all the ideology stuff, right? Like when it comes to how a Muslim can treat their wife, or how a Christian can do certain things to people that I would consider bad and harmful. Stop them from getting married because they're gay or bi or whatever. That's a very toxic ideology.
Okay, but if you don't have why can't you think of it as guidance? Like if you don't have a God, you think everything is yours. Like you have it. It creates ego.
We can guide ourselves. We can guide each other without the Quran.
And how did that work out? Nothing's going well by the
Well,
guidance of humans.
say that to the terrorists who use the Quran to justify their terrorist acts. Say that to the Christians during the Crusades who used their Bible. Say that to the slave owners who used the Bible to justify slavery. Anybody can use information for good or bad, right? The question is,
Yeah.
what leads to the better prosperity?
But the question
And
is
so far,
whether you
science
are.
does, in my view.
Yeah, I mean you're right. Yeah, there's people who use it for bad things, but it's not about them. It's about you. It's about whether you choose to discover, research, and learn about this and choose to believe in it for a good reason, not because other people.
I agree, but unfortunately, embedded within the doctrines of Islam and Christianity are very hateful things. People use them oftentimes as vehicles for hatred.
But those are humans. Like, don't look towards those like finite humans as reasons to not choose to believe.
It's not the people; it's the book this time. It's the book. The doctrine itself is intrinsically toxic.
What are you referring to? The Bible?
In the Quran, yes, absolutely. The Quran says or the Islam, it says you get to unalive unbelievers. So does the Bible. The Quran says you can hurt your wife if she disobeys you in 434.
What? Are you sure you've read it?
Have you read 434 in the Quran? It's a whole chapter about women and how you treat them. They're less than men.
Yeah,
you treat them unequally.
I read and speak Arabic. I read it in its preserved language. I know what the Quran is. And it's not always like, I feel like if you take it too literally, you're going to be misinformed on it, obviously. And if you've read it from someone else,
that's another reason why I think it's wrong to be a Muslim or a Christian, because you never know if your book's reliable or not. You don't know if it's metaphorical or not. You can take things out of context. You can manipulate the word, the big word.
It's different.
It's a very harsh position to be in.
Yeah, but that's a test. That's a test to find what's right.
Anybody can say it's a test, right? Hitler can say that. Oh, I'm doing this because it's a test. That's a cop-out, right? It's a test. That's a cop-out to me. There's no evidence of that.
Okay. I mean, well, would you ever find yourself changing your mind, or like?
Yes, with evidence. All I need is evidence. I am the most open-minded person in existence. If you could give me evidence, but I'm damn hard when it comes to the evidence. My standards of evidence are fucking high. But if you can do that, I'll change immediately. I'm not tethered to some ideology ever. If the evidence aligns with the truth, I will believe the truth.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I could say about like my book especially is like the words described, obviously because we consider it the words of gods, it's not conceptualized for like the human mind. Like everybody interprets it different, right? Like if we interpret it like
that's another flaw. That's another flaw in religion. This is another reason to stay away. This is another red flag.
But would you really choose to like? Would you really think billions of people would believe in a God that's unperfect and like, it's so clear as to
people believe in God because they have this egotistical, concept of God as if he's perfect and loves me and wants to care for me. Most people who believe in God do it for emotional reasons, not logical reasons. As we're displaying today, there's no logic for God. It's all purely emotional, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. What I'm saying is there's just no good evidence of God. And do you have any?
I mean, no, not physically, but.
Well, what's the non-physical evidence of God? I'm open to any kind of evidence.
Well, the historical book is all I can say. But other than that, it's the fact that you're, like the things, why are things here? Like, why are we here? Why do we die? What's going to happen? Like those questions left unanswered. There is very strong arguments for that within God, right? Like,
no, there are very strong opinions when it comes to God. Why do we have strong opinions when it comes to the Bible or the Quran? Because people are motivated to believe in good, positive things happen when we die. People want to believe. They're more geared to believing that when you die, you're going to be in a happy place and you're going to see your loved ones and you're going to be happy forever. People are more inclined to believe that. Why do you think nobody believes in an evil God? Nobody wants to believe in an evil God that sends you to hell for believing in him, right? Nobody believes in
Yeah,
that God
yeah,
because
of
we're
course.
motivated emotionally to believe in the happy God. Of course,
It's
we're going to believe in your
of
God.
course,
It's
but
the happy one, okay?
that's one-sided.
So
With
see,
God, you get free will. With God, you get free will to decide your fate.
I don't see evidence of free will.
What do you mean? Like the fact that you're making this decision to talk to people is free will.
Well, I was influenced by my brain to do this. I was not influenced. I was
Yeah,
not freely to do this.
and
My
you were
brain
gifted. You
chemistry.
were gifted that brain. You were gifted these thoughts. The fact that you can articulate this information.
There's no evidence of that.
Well, then give me the evidence that. Well, then who made it? Who?
Well, the brain is the product of billions of years of evolution. We know this because we can see the fossil records of this. We can see the DNA sequencing for this. The brain is a very elaborate mechanism, but it took place over billions of years of changes, right? And that's why we have complex brains. No evidence of a magic man doing it.
But he's not like okay. I mean, look, I can't explain to you. Atheists will believe in him as a magic man. I mean, what am I going to say? You know, who am I to tell them different? But, I mean, to you, all I can say is to you, God is imaginary. That's, you know, I can't give you evidence, but I can give you guidance, is what I can say.
You can pretend to give me guidance, but all you can really do is appeal to your emotions and say, "Oh, this must be true," because who else are we coming from? This is an appeal to this is an ignorance fallacy. It's a very
How is it ignorant? I mean,
well. You're arguing from a place of ignorance, right? I don't know why we exist, therefore God did it. That's fallacious, right? I don't know why the brain exists. That's why God did it. That's fallacious reasoning.
but I mean, what I'm not trying to be like closed-minded and say like, oh, like there's no other good reason, but there really is a strong reason within God. That's like I'm not just blindly making that decision.
Then please give it before I kick you, because you're just wasting your time at this point. Just give the argument. You're not giving a valid or sound argument.
Well, I did. It's in the book.
So is Dr. Seuss's Cat in the Hat. It's in the book, right? Anybody can appeal to a book. They're stories, right? Anybody can make a book. I'm asking you for how you know the book is true in the first place.
I mean, okay. Do you think like there will be a last day on Earth? Like, because we know that this Earth.
I don't know what that even means. A last day.
No. Wait, no, not like religiously. I mean, like, do you think this Earth will eventually crumble or something? Like, do you believe that?
Yeah, I think it will eventually disintegrate.
And what will happen after that?
We will not exist the way we do today. We'll exist as particles floating in the abyss of open, empty space forever, and that's it. That's the reality we seem to live in. And if you can't accept that, fine. But there's no reason to think that just because I can't accept this reality, therefore God exists. That's a terrible reason to think God exists. I'd rather accept the harsh reality, the bittersweetness of it, than to pretend all my life.
Both choices require a leap of faith, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not making a claim necessarily. I'm just saying it seems to be that we just die. There's no evidence otherwise.
That is a claim. Like, what?
There's no evidence otherwise, in my view. I don't see evidence that we go somewhere else when we die. Do you have any?
No, but I'm not just going to sit here and tell you that the evidence I have is in the book because you don't believe in that, right? But
okay, great. So let's move somewhere then. This is your last chance to give evidence before I kick you.
I don't have evidence. I don't. But
okay, have a good day. Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just have a simple explanation. So, you know how chromosomes were discovered in 1882?
Okay.
So that's a scientific fact. If you said that chromosomes did not exist in 1881 and you said that there's no proof, you're saying you're right because it wasn't discovered until a year later. That's your whole entire argument.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying God does not exist. I'm saying there's no evidence of God. Vastly different claims. So do you have evidence for God?
Okay, so yeah, let me further that train of thought. In Genesis, when he says that he took a rib from Adam to make Eve, maybe they didn't know about chromosomes, and they're talking about chromosomes because a man is XY, there's a leg missing. So they said the word rib because they didn't know about chromosomes. You don't actually understand the poetry and the layers and the depths of the Bible and its teachings.
Okay, so where's the poetry in like donkeys talking in Numbers 22? Like, what's that supposed to mean? Like, do donkeys talk in your view?
They laugh.
Okay, does that mean they talk and speak like human language?
No, I haven't seen any donkey talk except in cartoons.
Okay, well, the Bible says it. The Bible says it, right? So, like, is it poetry?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, you're interpreting different things, but do you understand the point
No,
that
you are, sir.
chromosomes?
You are interpreting things and exploiting the vagueness of the book to make a case for something that doesn't even have the ability to be making a case for. You are.
Okay, so what if something is discovered next year? Let me just put it this way. If chromosomes were discovered in 1882, what if something's discovered in 2025 to prove you wrong? Would you be open to that?
Look, do you have evidence for God before I kick you?
Yes, I have direct evidence, but you can't have evidence for yourself unless you really truly open your heart.
Hey, can you provide the evidence for God to us today?
Well, it's everybody has their own timing. You will have a supernatural experience, and it will be irreversible for you to.
So Eric, do you think everybody
dispute it.
has a spiritual experience? Everybody?
Yes, everybody does, but it's in different ways and
So
different
you're
times in
saying
their
that
life.
you're saying that eventually everybody will believe in God.
Well, you might believe in God once you die.
Oh, so now not everybody will know God exists even when they experience God. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that only God knows the answer to that. We are just mere mortals.
Okay. How do you know God exists now, sir?
Like
How do you
basically,
know God exists?
airplanes were created, right? Just recently in human history. If somebody said that humans cannot fly, right, 2,000 years ago, that person was right up until they made an airplane. Do you understand my
I'm
argument?
not making the claim that God does not exist for sure. What I'm saying is there's no evidence for it. And if you said planes don't exist in 1804, and if you said there's no evidence for planes in 1804, you'd be correct. There's no evidence of planes.
Yeah, but look. Yeah, but
So what's your evidence of God?
it's
Just
the
give
most
it to us.
absurd theory to look around you. Don't you have eyes and ears and five senses and think that there can't be intelligent creation? You think this is just random? This blue planet with all this life in the middle of an infinite
Wait, I can't
universe?
see you. What did you say? I can't. I didn't see. I have bad eyesight. I was designed poorly.
No, I mean this respectfully, Mike. I'm very
I need
respectful.
my glasses to see correctly.
I'm trying to
That's
make an argument,
intelligence.
a logical argument.
Sir, Eric, is it intelligent to design somebody with flawed eyesight? Is that intelligent design to you?
No, because a blink of God's eyes is 1,000 years. We're mortals,
Oh my
but
gosh,
we have a
Eric,
different perspective.
Eric, please.
We have a different
Get back on
perspective,
track.
bro.
Sir, Eric, let's get back on track. You invoked intelligent design. I said that my eyes are flawed, right? They're shitty, right? I need glasses to see properly. So why would God design that?
Because everybody is unique, like a snowflake is unique, each and every single one. So maybe your talent is
Oh, so then
to
you
play the
can't say that
guitar.
there's design. You cannot distinguish a non-design from a design thing, right? You
Well,
don't have a symmetry breaker. You can't tell the difference because everything's designed to you, no matter if it's shit or not shit, right? So again, you're not showing me how you know the things are actually in fact designed.
no, I'm saying it would be absurd, just statistically
Why?
speaking.
Why is it absurd when you can when we can explain these things through evolution?
No, there's flaws in that because it's statistically impossible for pure just randomness to have this planet with
Nobody said
life.
it's pure randomness. I don't know why people keep saying pure randomness. Nobody fucking said that.
So I'm telling
Just
you
stop
that
saying
there
it's pure
is an
randomness.
intelligent
Number one.
creator
Number two, where
helping
you're
her.
getting your statistics from?
Just because the universe is infinite, correct?
We don't know that, sir. We
What do
don't
you
know
mean
if
we
it's
don't know
infinite
that?
or not.
It's not a scientific fact that the universe is infinite.
Nobody knows if the universe is infinite or not. We don't know. Do you have evidence for God now, though?
Yeah, no, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like dolphins use sonar, right? Snakes use like infrared. We can see natural light. You're using your brain and your understanding to try to say that
Jared, do you
you're
have
true.
evidence for God before I kick you?
All right. I think I tried to explain it to you, but thanks for talking. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could go on and on to try to help you understand my perspective, and I'm trying to understand your perspective.
Look, Eric, I think you need to go back to the drawing board and learn more about science. That'll help you a lot. Okay?
Yes, I understand science.
No, you don't. All right. So the next next guest in here.
Oh, hello. So I didn't join that for very long, but is God imaginary? No, he's not imaginary. Well, not he or God. The figure would not be
How old are you,
imaginary.
John?
No.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 19. Oh well, no, I'm 18. But sorry, but that's not the point. Age doesn't have really anything to do with that question or knowledge. You know, so I've traveled, I've seen things. Thank you. I have experience. You know.
Great. So can you provide evidence for God now, John?
Okay. So you're talking about science, right? Correct. So where's that distinguish between science and religion?
Science is fact-based.
Because
religion's
science refers to facts is something that happens repeatedly. What happens to one stuff that just happens one time? You know, how do you classify that stuff? Like,
no. First of all, science is included within science. The method of science
facts is stuff that
are
happens
facts and
repeatedly, so
evidence
that's
and
how you can
data.
verify that it's a fact.
John, please. Science is a method. It incorporates facts, evidence, and data.
Yes, but how do you verify
Not
something's
just
a fact?
facts.
How do you verify something's a fact?
By testing, repeating things, and verifying things.
Okay, and so
do you have evidence for God now?
Biology, no matter what civilization you look at or a branch of history you look at, there's always been some type of hope that needed to be
Okay, this isn't evidence of God.
And
Do you have evidence of God now?
There isn't evidence of an actual.
Look, just do you have evidence for God, John? Do you have the evidence? Just give it to us, right? I want to hear a story about your canoe ride.
It's in front of you, though. It's everywhere. It might not be in front of our eyes, but it's everywhere. There's not factual.
Where's the evidence of God,
There's, like, if
sir?
you go
Where's
to
the
civilizations,
evidence of God?
you go to literally actual. You look at your history books, not the Bible, but you look at your history books. You research. You go to actual cathedrals. You go to stuff. What are they?
Yeah. Hi, how are you, Jay?
Yo, what's up? So, I'm amazed at how people just regurgitate what they've heard.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Do you have evidence for God or no?
There is no evidence for God.
Okay, have a good day, buddy. Why is Jay coming back up, dude? You're not gonna come back up. Hello?
Yo,
Yeah. What do you
yo, I
got?
got
Okay.
Sharbarakanda Barakanda Shadakaragangala Barakangi
Bada boom, bada bing, bada bing, boom, bada boom, boom. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. What do you got for us today?
Poo poo pee pee stinky. Poo poo pee pee.
Okay. Typical Christian knowledge. Poo poo pee pee. Gaga.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I just want to say you're gonna burn in hell.
Oh no! What temperature? What temperature is it going to be there, sir? Okay. What temperature do souls burn at? I thought souls were immaterial, hence they don't feel temperature. All right.
Yo.
Hi, how are you?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Great.
Oh, I'm not here to debate you. I agree with you. All love, bro. All love.
You best hurry. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 16. Hey, wait.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So just on the question of how does God exist or what evidence is there, aren't you evidence that there is a God?
How? How am I evidence? Is it my butt,
You're here,
my
you're
nose,
alive, you're
my eyes?
speaking. Does that not make you evidence?
Yeah, so what body part proves God? Is it my butt, my penis, my nose?
No,
Which one?
just your human body in general.
Oh, so my penis? Penis, therefore God?
No, just you as a soul, as a body.
So my penis, my butt, and my nose, and my face, therefore God?
No, just you.
See, the problem with saying me is evidence is the fact that we have alternative explanations for me, right? We know that natural selection took place, evolution took place, and that's what explains my body. I don't need God for that, right? So this is why this is not good evidence. You understand? Hello? You there? We can't hear you. Ass hair, therefore God. Ass hair,
Hello?
therefore God. Yeah, how are you?
So why do you think God is imaginary?
There's no evidence. How old are you?
I'm 13.
Hi, how are you? Oh, he ran. Keep tapping, guys. Thank you for getting to 600 people watching. Thank you. Hello?
Yo, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
Hello. So I just have I'm 18.
Okay.
Okay, so I just have a few questions for you. Like, do you have any evidence on your side that God is in fact imaginary?
Well, yeah, well, certain gods I think are imaginary. The Christian God makes no sense. I mean, how can evil exist if God is all good? I don't see how God could make evil things happen or allow them. But yeah, I'm really asking you for evidence of God.
Well, I mean, a lot of people that don't believe in God say that they believe in science and they're choosing facts over faith. Is that your approach as well? One of your approaches?
Yeah. What year were you born?
05?
What month?
March? God bless. Have a great night.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. How old are you?
16.
Yeah, you guys got to be 18 or older to be up here. Sorry. Hi, how are you?
Hey, can you hear me, man? What's up? How you doing today, brother?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I talked to you before, man. You got angry with me, and I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm trying to say,
Right.
okay, let me explain to you. You start making faces every time I try to explain something. God is eternal. He is outside of time. He's a continuing spirit. Like,
He's outside of time, but doesn't that require time to make the universe?
he's a continuing spirit, bro. Nothing can come from nothing. It's scientifically impossible. If you had a building 100 years ago, I mean, it's like a painting, or the birds, the trees, male and female. I mean, you look all around, you see his creation. He's a continuum spirit. He is outside of time. I never could comprehend reality of it. I see why you don't believe in God. I understand your concept,
I believe in
but you
super
got to
God.
pray, bro.
John, I believe in
Well, I
super
mean,
God.
you got a choice. Okay, what about hell? What?
Sean, now I know why I made faces. I believe in super God, Sean. He's outside of God. He made God. He's outside of God's time. See what I can do? I can play your stupid games too. I can say, it's outside of this, that's outside of that forever, right? I'm asking you to provide evidence of your specific God, right? That's all, Sean. And if you can't do that, just tell me, right? And I'll just kick you out. I have no problem kicking you. I just want some evidence. So go ahead, unmute yourself when you're ready.
You lost. You're outside of time.
Okay. Have a good day, Sean. I'll be praying for you. Praying that you open the damn science book. I'll be
Okay,
praying that
here.
you open a damn science book for once. Hey, how are you?
Okay, I talked to you before, but like it seems like you keep muting me every time I try to have like a honest conversation with you.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 19, as I said.
Okay. And what's your evidence for God?
Okay, so as I was saying, that all like the Big Bang Theory by itself posits that the universe is finite, so therefore we
No, it
need.
doesn't. It doesn't.
It does. You could search up right now that
No,
George's.
the Big Bang does not necessitate the universe being finite.
It does.
It could be finite, but that's not relevant. Let's just say it was finite. It doesn't mean God did it, right? So what's your evidence of God?
I'm going to there, and you have to understand, like, the creation of the universe is where we get our definition from God. We believe that he's a creator, therefore
Okay, great. So what's your evidence that God created the universe?
that the fact that the universe is finite and that whatever caused it, whatever beyond what was not there, the universe not being there, it would have to be
Okay,
what
so then under your definition, God could be a quantum field, right?
a quantum theory. Well, anything that would be the first mover would be God.
Yeah. So I don't think there's such thing as a first mover. Right? Motion does not have there's no first mover to the universe. Motion is not absolute. Motion is
Okay,
relative.
so if there was like a
Right,
line
so-
of dominoes, like an infinite line of dominoes, and they kept going back and falling upon each other, is there a first domino to knock them all over?
Yeah, but who knocked over God to make the first domino fall?
That's the point. God exists outside of time. He can't be bounded by time.
Oh, okay. So how do you create something without time to create it in?
No, you're infinite. Like he's the only thing in this world that would be, infinite.
Did God create the universe?
Yes.
Does creation take time?
Well, yeah, it was temporal.
Okay. How if God is outside of time, can he make the universe, which needs time to make it?
Because he was making the standards and the axioms of the universe. He was making physical laws.
How did he make it without time to make it in?
He was making all the principles that the universe exists in, like gravity and sorts of things like that.
How do you make something if it doesn't if there's no time to make it in?
It's not that there's no time. He's timeless. He can exist with beyond all periods of time.
He's timeless?
Yeah, like he's completely timeless.
Oh, okay.
Not bound
So
by
then
a
how
specific
does
time
he
zone. So there is no
then
time.
how does he
point in
do
time.
things within time how does he create a universe if there's no time to do it?
Do you believe that the universe was created 3.5 billion years ago?
No. Nothing was created.
Wait, so you disagree with like the common consensus between all physicists?
There's no common consensus that the universe began 13 billion years ago. The universe
So
as we
if I
know
type
it,
in the age of the
I-
universe, I won't get 13.8 billion years ago?
the Big Bang refers to how far back we can see. And I agree, the furthest back we can see is 13 billion years. But it doesn't mean the entire universe began
Exactly,
at
that's the
a specific
observable
moment.
universe. That's the proof.
Right.
I'm
We
talking
don't know
about.
what's beyond the observable universe. The universe could be much bigger, hence could be a lot older, right?
So
We
didn't
don't
you
know the
just
full picture.
concede that there is something beyond the observable universe?
There could be. It doesn't
So
mean it's
you
God.
just so you're helping our point. You're helping the Christian point by
No, we're
accepting that there
not,
is a
because
dimension beyond.
there's no reason why something like a God has to exist outside of the universe, the known universe.
Do you know who like exactly created the Big Bang Theory? Like who formulated it?
There were several people that
No.
were
Who was the person who is considered the father of the Big Bang Theory? Do you know the man?
yeah, there were several. You're talking about the Catholic priest. He's one of the people, but before him
No,
there were several others.
he
There were
is the
several other
person.
people who were part of it, right? Hoyle and
No,
all these
he's
other
the
guys.
person who got awarded. There was no other person that was, getting
Just
awards
because
for
you're
it.
awarded doesn't mean you began the theory, right? There could be many other people involved in it. That's
Okay,
typically
can you
happens.
like tell me his helpers? Like, can you show me his henchmen?
What do you mean henchmen? Right? There
Because
were
you're
other
saying that he had
people
like
involved. We can talk about Fred Hoyle, right? It was another example of somebody who did that. Albert Einstein took place in part of it. Other
no
people were
Fred
involved.
no. Fred Hoyle was the one who objected to this.
Other people, okay, well, not Fred Hoyle, but other people were part of this, right? Albert Einstein laid the foundations for the Big Bang to be correct.
No, it was the person who is George Lemaitre. He was the Catholic
Yes,
priest.
he's a Catholic priest. He's a Catholic priest, yes. But there were
Okay,
other
he
people
published it.
involved.
So why
There were
would a
other
Catholic
people, man,
priest?
there were other people involved, period. I don't know all their names. It doesn't matter. What
Okay,
is the
but
evidence what is the evidence that God exists?
it is the fact that the universe is finite.
Why does that mean God exists? The universe can be
Because
finite. Shh, no, please. The universe
can
can
I
be
go over
finite.
my syllogism?
The universe can be finite, and yet
Yes.
God not exist.
How?
Okay? Because there could be a natural reason why the universe exists.
But why can't I say that God is in charge of
You
all
can
natural
say
phenomena?
God is in charge just as I can say anything else is in charge. We talked about this before.
What's the definition
Why,
of God?
ma'am, we fucking talked about this before.
No,
Right?
I'm just curious.
I
What is your
explained
definition
to
of God?
you. I explained to you that
Don't.
just saying God did it is not evidence of it.
Okay,
So can you please give evidence?
I'm
Do
trying to,
you
but
know what
you
evidence? Do you know what evidence is? Do I have to explain to you what evidence
no,
is?
you already conceded that logical
No,
proofs.
ma'am. Do you know what evidence means?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's something that leads to a conclusion by
Great.
definition.
So what leads to God existing and no other conclusion being correct?
Because God is defined as a creator through all cultures,
I don't
God
care
is
about God's definition. I want the evidence for God now.
Your banner, that the word on top of your head is that
No,
God is
please,
imaginary.
Heidi, please. What's the evidence of God now?
It's like I'm going to it. I'm making a sound
No,
argument.
what's the evidence for God now?
The fact that there has to be causation.
That causation can exist without God.
But like, wait, there has to be a first cause. That doesn't make sense.
No, there doesn't. It does
How
not
can
have to
there?
be a first
Okay,
cause.
so a infinite line of dominoes can exist.
Yes.
How? Explain to me.
Why can't it? Why isn't it possible that there's an infinite line of dominoes?
Because if they're all falling, then there has to be an explanation of the first one that fell.
That assumes the A3 of time.
What?
Do you know what the A3 of time is?
No, I'm saying like what you're saying has no correlation
No,
whatsoever.
do you know what the A3 of time is?
Okay, well you educate me. Tell me.
Heidi, do you know? Yes or no? It's okay if you don't know.
No.
Okay. The A theory assumes tense time. It assumes that time passes. The B theory is what I tend to hold to, is that there is no passage of time. And when you think something's falling, right, that's perceptual, right? It's relative, right? Something
Okay.
falling or moving or motion's relative in this world. So that's why nothing's actually moving through time. It's just perceptual. And that's why that time is tenseless. There's no tense to time. And that's why
So there is no explanation for the dominoes.
that's why there could be an infinite time, just like there could be infinite space.
Okay, so let me give a different example that has no relation to time. Okay, so you get marbles. They come in a bag of red and blue. Okay, so every time you pull out a blue marble, there is one red marble, and this bag is infinite. You will always get a red marble after every 10 blue marbles. So there's an infinite amount of both blue marbles and red marbles. That's literally impossible.
How does this prove God exists?
I'm showing that infinite regress does not exist. So if there's no infinite
No, you
regress,
did
that
not.
means
Look, in order to say infinite regression is impossible, you need to posit some kind of contradiction. Do you have the contradiction?
Yeah, I'm
with
saying that it's
infinite regression?
contradicting because there can't be an equal amount of these of the red and blue marbles.
What? How does
Because
that disprove infinite regression?
If there is 10, after every 10 blue marbles, one red marble appears, and this goes on for an infinite amount of time, there would be an equal amount of red marbles and an equal amount of blue marbles, even though there's 10 blue marbles per one red marble.
I don't see how this demonstrates God's real, or that we have to
No, I'm
pray
saying that
God
there's a
is real.
paradox between infinite regress, and if there
Where's
is
the
a paradox,
paradox? You haven't pointed out the contradiction. Where's the P and
I'm
not P?
saying that there can't be an infinite amount of red marbles and blue marbles. That's an
Okay,
example
Heidi,
of
do you know
infinite
what a
regressing.
contradiction is?
A contradiction is that something that like literally cannot exist. It's improbable. It's
Yeah, but
impossible.
how do you know a contradiction is true or it exists?
Because I know that if I have 10 red
No,
red
like
marbles,
how do you know what's a logical contradiction? What does that mean?
a logical contradiction means that it doesn't follow. It's not valid. Its premise is not. There's a problem
How
with
is
the
it
premises.
invalid? Right, exactly. But how is it invalid? How would you know it's invalid? What's the inference?
Because if there is 10 per one, then there would always be a constant
No,
of more than 10.
you're not listening. What's the logical reason as to why a contradiction exists? What's the logical
Because its
inference?
premises are flawed.
No. So you don't know what a contradiction is. A contradiction is the negation and the affirmation of the same premise or the same proposition.
Yeah, that's a flaw in a premise.
Yeah, but you didn't know what the flaw was, right?
Yeah, I just showed you. I said
your
that
job is to show the logical syllogism you would have to give is the negation and the affirmation, P and not P. That would be
Exactly.
the logical syllogism you would have to give to demonstrate the contradiction in an infinite
Okay, so if
regression.
there's a constant of 10 per one,
Do you have that syllogism for us?
yes, my syllogism would be that if there is 10 per one, then it would mean that whatever 10 is, it would be higher than 1.
It's not a contradiction. It's not a contradiction.
Okay,
Again,
if this goes on for
do this
infinity,
again. We'll do this again for you, right? Like contradiction is negation and the affirmation of the same proposition. So it'd be like, for example, the sky is blue, and then I would say the sky is not blue, right? That would be a contradiction in my view.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that would render my view impossible, right? That would render my view impossible, right? So
the contradiction is that there is supposed to be 10 marbles per one red marble, but there is an equal amount of both forever.
Okay. let's just entertain your garbage view, right? Let's just say the marble thing exists. The marble example again presupposes a theory.
Yeah,
Right.
that infinite regress is impossible.
You're not understanding what I'm telling you. The marble example again question begs the A theory. Right? Do you know what that means?
The A theory, well, tell me. I'm not familiar.
I just told you before. It seems like you didn't understand again.
No, like what
The
theory?
theory assumes that time passes. I don't think that time passes.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So,
Because when I gave the dominoes,
what you're doing is you're saying, if I have a marble and I'm throwing them in a thing and I get different numbers of them, that wouldn't even exist under my view, right? That wouldn't even be the case, that we couldn't go back in time because time would not be tensed.
no,
So
I'm not.
there
The
could be an
dominoes
infinite
are bound
number.
by
There
time.
could be an infinite amount of marbles. Just like there's an infinite amount of space in the universe, there could be an infinite amount of time in the universe. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then your entire argument collapses because
I'm
time
saying
can be infinite.
no, like I'm conceding to the world view that you're composing, but I'm saying that in our
Okay, great.
natural
Then you agree that my view is possible. It's valid, right?
no, it's invalid. But if there is an infinite amount of
It's
time, then there can
invalid.
be
Why
infinite
is my
space.
view invalid?
No, okay. So if we go back to what I was saying before, you said that the dominoes falling contradicts your theory because you're saying that time is something that can be infinitely long, so that theory doesn't exist. So I did something that has nothing to do with time whatsoever, which is just a sequence. It is a sequence. To
Yeah,
occur,
you're giving a sequence which also requires time to occur, right? The
no,
causal
sequences
relationship
don't
still
have.
is temporal, right? You're still having a temporal causal relationship. I'm asking
Like
for
the numbers through 1 to 100 are sequences, but they have nothing to do with time.
I agree. So you can just like
Wait, so you just
exactly
said you agree, right?
this proves my point because you can have an infinite number line in the past into the future, right? You can have a negative number for infinite amounts of time, infinite amounts of numbers that are infinite negatively,
Yeah,
right?
that's a sequence. That's not bound by time.
Exactly. So we can have an infinite sequence negatively and positively, and it's perfectly valid.
Exactly. So my syllogism is
Okay, then your
valid.
entire argument collapses.
No, it doesn't. You just proved it by saying that numbers are a sequence that are not bound by time.
Look, you agree that sequences can be infinite, right?
Yeah, yeah, you could say
Okay.
that.
Do you agree that, and we can agree that everything in this universe is a sequence, which could be infinite, right?
No, because the universe is finite.
That's
Numbers are not a physical
you're being
thing.
contradictory. You're being contradictory, right? You can't say the universe is finite and then say it could be infinite.
Because the number
that,
one does not exist in this
Heidi,
universe.
is it possible that the universe is infinite?
No, it is impossible.
Okay. Why is it impossible that the universe is infinite?
It's not possible because we have like a cosmic radiation background that shows that there is a point where it was infinitely dense.
When I say the universe, I don't just mean our local space-time. I mean the totality of all, right? The existence. Is it possible that existence itself is infinite?
No, I don't think
in
so.
Space and time. No? Okay. No. Why is existence in totality impossible to be infinite?
That has nothing to do with like the universe, because I define the
That's my
universe as a
definition of the
collective.
universe. That's my definition of the universe. It's
No,
the
the universe
totality
is a
of all.
collective. The universe is every single thing that exists inside our world.
Exactly. The totality of all that is real and possible.
Exactly, but
That's the
everything that
universe to me.
exists inside this
So
world
show me that that's not possible.
because everything in our world is contingent.
Prove it. I could
Okay.
just say I could just say everything necessary. You don't have to say that. We don't have to accept that.
Okay, my first premise is that every contingent being has an explanation for its existence. Either it's necessary from its own nature or an external
Yeah,
cause.
we
Do
can
you
just
agree
say
with
the
that?
universe is necessary, and that's it. We're done. Your entire argument
No, the
collapsed.
universe is not necessary to exist.
Prove it, right? You're making the claim it's not necessary. Why
Because
is
it's
it not
contingent.
necessary?
Wait, the universe?
That's question begging. You're question begging.
No, I didn't ask a question at all. There's no question.
Do you know what a begging the question fallacy is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's when you're going back to the first premises and you're going to prove something, but with your own stance.
Okay. Have a good day, ma'am.
No, you're.
Look, question begging argument is when you use the same premise in your conclusion, right? You can't use it. You can't put the premise as a conclusion. You're assuming things to be true, and just as she says the universe is contingent, I can say it's necessary, and both of us are valid. It's just a matter of who's more sound, and we don't know. Nobody does. All right, let's get the next victim in here.
Hello.
Hi, how can we help you?
Well, I just I'm not a scientist. I don't have knowledge of science, but you asked for proof of existence of God. I give you one word, and that's faith. It says in the word, I know you don't
Oh,
believe it.
okay, great. So, faith, Gary,
I got things I want to say, but listen.
Gary,
Faith is the
Gary,
substance of things hoped for,
Gary,
and the evidence of
Gary,
things not seen.
Gary.
Yes.
Just as you have faith in God, which is cute, I can have faith that God doesn't exist. Would I be
True.
correct? Would I be correct, sir?
Yes, because he gives us free will.
Okay, so I'm correct that God doesn't exist.
I'm not. I disagree with you, but you have that
I'm
right.
correct, sir. Am I correct that God doesn't exist?
If you say he doesn't exist, that's your right to believe that way.
No, that's not what I asked you. Am I correct in my statement?
If you believe that, okay. But you
That's
know,
not
if
what I
I
asked you, Gary. I didn't ask you if I was okay. I asked if I was correct.
if you're correct in your statement that God doesn't exist, is that what you're saying?
I just gotta take a deep breath, guys. I'm sorry. It's just too.
What's good? You good?
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 14. Is it fine?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, bro.
How old are you?
19.
All right. And what do you got?
Well, so the proof that like God is real is that so everything has to have like a cause and effect, you know? Like to say that the universe has always existed is illogical.
Oh, so what caused God?
Nothing caused God. He has always existed. He has always been here.
So if God can always exist, why can't the universe always exist?
Because the universe is not an all-powerful being. It's just a matter of particles in space.
Why does it have to be all powerful to exist infinitely?
Well, because that's the only way it can exist infinitely without a cause and effect.
That doesn't follow at all, sir, right? Just because you're powerful doesn't mean you ought to exist infinitely. That doesn't make any sense. I don't even have to accept the omnipotence part of this. You're just like saying things, right? Like, can you demonstrate any of your claims?
They're not claims. They're actually logical proof that the universe cannot make itself. Everything has to have a beginning, a cause, and a reason.
Why can't the universe be infinite?
Because that's illogical.
Why?
Because everything has to have a cause and a
Why
effect.
is it illogical?
Because everything has to have a cause.
This is like question begging. I'm asking you.
I gave you an answer.
Why can't the universe be infinite? Where's the logical contradiction there?
Because everything has to have a reason to be there.
Why? Oh, okay. Everything has to have a reason. Then why is God there? What's God's reason for existing?
His reason to existing, he doesn't have a reason. He is the alpha and the omega.
You just said everything has to have a reason.
Not if
Why
you're
are you
all
so
powerful
confused?
and above time and above space and creation.
Being above time doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a word you're saying, right? Above time. What the hell does that even mean?
It means you're above everything and everything ever made. You
Time
are
can be
above.
infinite. Time can be infinite. You don't have to be outside of things to be infinite. You can be within time. You can time itself.
Okay, so let's say the universe was infinite. Then how did everything appear? Like,
It didn't just appear. Right? This isn't like magic class. This isn't Harry Potter.
Okay, so then how was the
power
universe
was
created?
am. Poof, the universe.
Okay, how was our solar system created?
You think the entire universe appeared in 6 days?
What created us then? What created us? What do you think created us?
Okay, what year were you born?
What?
What year were you born?
2005.
What month?
February 3rd.
Wow, you really are 19. Nothing needs a creator.
Okay, yes, okay, but let's say the universe
So,
exists.
give me evidence of God, please, before I kick you.
What? No, no, I'm just asking you, what do you think created us?
Nothing needs a creator.
Okay, so then how do you think we were here? How do you think we got here to this point in time?
Sir, this isn't Uber. We didn't get dropped off here by a space.
I mean, how do you think the universe and the orbits and the suns were perfectly lined up with each other?
There's no such thing as perfect alignment.
Yes, it is. Because if everything were slightly less more
hold
powerful, we would have been collapsing.
hold on. I understand where you guys are coming from. You're looking around the world. You're going, everything's amazing. I don't understand it. It's so complex. It must be magic. The issue is we have good explanations. The Big Bang is a great model which explains the cosmic configuration we exist within. It explains the orbits of stars and planets around the galaxy, right? It's called equations, Einstein's relativity and Newtonian mechanics and quantum mechanics. All of these are great explanations for planets. No evidence of some magic sky wizard going, here's a planet, poof, Wallakazam, Jupiter, Wallakazam, the sun. It's perfect distance. Like, there's no evidence of that, right? All the evidence suggests that there's a cosmic evolution, and we happen to be here in this time. And that's it.
Okay, but the thing is, you know how the universe, the gravitational pull, if it was slightly less more powerful, we would all collapse. And then same on the opposite. How
the
would...
cosmological constant could be 10 times greater and we'd still exist just fine.
No, I'm talking about the gravitational pull of our life and existence in the universe.
The gravitational pull of our life.
Yes, okay.
Some kind of poetic... what is this? What does that even mean?
Because what are the chances? That's less than a 0.110% chance that we would be existing right now.
How did you calculate that? Did you pull that out of your ass? 1.0% chance.
Okay, well, it's less than a 1% chance that we would be existing right now. It's less than a 1% chance if the Big Bang created us. It's a fact. There's a less than 1% chance we would exist.
Where are these facts coming from? Your Bible?
It was proven in science. This says that if gravity was slightly less powerful, then the universe would collapse into a ball.
Okay.
So what makes you think that the universe did that to itself?
Sir, let's say the universe would have collapsed into a ball. Does that mean God doesn't exist?
No, because he created it perfectly to where we would all exist.
Okay, so whether or not the universe was a ball, a cube, a piece of...
I never said it was a ball. I said it would collapse into a ball.
Whatever the universe was, it doesn't mean God doesn't exist to you. So you can't use it as evidence for God, because we would exist no matter how we exist. It doesn't say either way if God does or does not exist. There's no evidence either way, right? Because we can explain our configuration through physics. You don't need God.
Okay, so you think that the universe created itself?
I never remember saying that.
Okay, so but you have not yet told me how the universe was created.
Who said it was? It wasn't necessarily.
Then how is it here then? How is it here?
How was God here? Right? It's the same question.
Because he is timeless. He has always existed.
We can say that about the universe too. We always existed.
Okay, if the universe has always existed, then what created? What eventually led to our universe?
If it always existed, it wasn't created.
No. Okay, so you're saying the sun and stars were already all here. Everything was already here.
No, the matter and energy was perhaps always
Okay,
considered.
so how did the matter and energy eventually lead to our perfect alignment of our solar system?
Gravity, changes through time, interactions, physical laws of nature, right?
Okay, so you're saying
Nuclear force,
particles collapsing into each other made our planets
Yeah.
and life.
Yes, you're just yapping. Listen, right?
That
Learn
does
some
not
damn
make
science.
sense.
Just because something doesn't make sense doesn't make it false.
Okay, so you're saying your claim doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you because you're illiterate.
I'm not illiterate. I'm listening to what you're saying, and it does not make sense.
Then do you know what Newtonian mechanics is?
No, I do not know what that is.
Then you're illiterate, right? You don't know what the laws of gravity are, right? Like F equals ma. You don't know these basic things of physics.
Okay,
That's
so
why you're going. How do we get here, Mike? Where do we come from?
Okay, but that's just words. That's just words.
It's because you're illiterate.
Those are just words.
It's. I'm not trying to be rude here, right? But I'm just pointing out a fact that you got to go back to the drawing board and learn some science.
Okay, I don't need science to prove that that God exists.
Well, you need something to show God exists, and so far you're giving
Okay,
us
the Bible. Here, that's proof. The Bible.
The Bible?
Yes, the Bible.
Talking donkeys and talking snakes.
Okay, so that's like
walking
saying
on
that.
water and magic fairy tales.
Okay, so but do you believe in Aristotle? Do you believe in all those famous scientists from hundreds of years ago? Answer my question.
Sir, you have to relax. I think you sound very nervous.
What? No, I'm asking you if you what is your proof that Aristotle exists right now?
We don't need proof that he existed. We have
Okay.
documents that he did.
Okay, and we have documents that God
existed.
existed too.
Where's your document of God?
The Bible, and historical witnesses that was passed down from generations to generations.
The Bible could have been written by a person.
It was written by multiple people.
Okay, that doesn't mean God exists then.
Okay, so historical evidence does not prove to you that something exists, and how come you believe in Aristotle?
You can't just pretend the Bible is historical.
Yes, we can. It has been passed down from hundreds of years.
Okay, do you think talking donkeys are historical?
What?
Do you think donkeys talked in history?
No, I don't.
But your Bible says it in Numbers 22. It's historical, sir. It's the Bible.
They could have talked. Okay, okay. What are you doing? What are you doing?
They couldn't talk. You're willing to think that donkeys could have talked?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
well,
not
then
illogical
I'm
to
not
believe.
willing to talk to you anymore. Bye-bye. No, look, guys. As much as it's funny, it's a stark reminder that we have to learn more and stop succumbing to confirmation bias. Right? Look at how eager people are to think God must be real. They're not willing to accept any other possibilities. They're not willing to learn about the world around them. And that's an issue, I think. And that kid was a nice guy. He's a very nice kid. And I was not trying to be rude. What I was trying to do is show him that there is an opposition, that we don't have to accept what he's saying, and he shouldn't either. What he needs to do is, and we all need to do, including myself, is to verify our claims, to challenge our own questions, challenge our own beliefs consistently. And that's what I'm doing all the time. And that's why I'm an atheist, right? Because I challenge everything I believe all the time. There's just no good evidence of God. But let's have one last victim in here. I was being rude. Well, religion's ruder, right? Religion's even ruder.
Hello. I want to ask if how that matter appeared if God doesn't make it. Sorry for my English. I'm not a native speaker.
Okay. Matter didn't just appear. Nobody said that. What we're saying is
But
that it's always been there.
where did it came from if it didn't appear? Sorry.
If it was always there, it didn't come from somewhere.
But even if it always existed, it has to come from somewhere. Did you understand my point?
Okay, then where did God come from?
God always existed.
By your logic, he must have came from somewhere. Even if he always existed, he had to come from somewhere.
From his own self. His created himself.
So God created himself.
Yes.
How do you create yourself when there's no, you there yet to create yourself yet? That seems illogical to me.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know either. It seems a bit illogical to me. And that's why we're saying the universe could have always existed. You don't need God, right? That seems more logical to me.
Yes, but still doesn't explain where matters came from. And I don't understand the claim. How can always time exist?
All right. Have a good
Doesn't
day,
have to have a time.
We just went over. I think I'm done, guys, today. I think I'm done. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube. And stay curious and keep questioning things and keep learning.